Right, so they recently revealed the MCU Thunderbolts team, along with other reveals. There was a Secret Invasion trailer, which there's not enough with that to talk about to do a full video on, and they revealed that the main villain of Cap 4 is going to be the leader, and it's the same guy from The Incredible Hulk, and it's weird that movie is getting all of this payoff in Phase 4 and 5. It's weird that they're bringing all of that back, especially since there's no Edward Norton anymore. Fucking the woman from Lord of the Rings that played Betty Ross isn't in anything anymore. It's going to be interesting to see if she comes back, because then imagine her coming back and being like, you were cheating on me with fucking Scarlett Johansson, bitch slap. And it's like, that's the weirdest thing for me. But yeah, the leader being in that, I honestly thought that the She-Hulk show was setting up for the leader to show up at the end of that. It looks like that's not going to happen. Probably a good thing. I'll talk about the She-Hulk show when it's finished, because we still have Daredevil yet to cameo, and hopefully at least we'll have one good episode out of a sea of mediocre. But I want to talk about the Thunderbolts lineup, because it looks bad. It doesn't look good. So we've got, the team consists of Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I forget her character's name because it's like triple barreled and they're all long. I know it's Von Bardus, but whatever comes first, I couldn't remember for the life of me. We've got her, we've got Ghost, Red Guardian, Yelena, Winter Soldier, US Agent, and Taskmaster. And my immediate question is, Red Guardian, US Agent, and Taskmaster do the same thing. Yelena and Winter Soldier are both very similar characters as well, and Yelena and Taskmaster are both ex-widows, or had something to do with the Widow program. And you've got three characters that you've already seen interact with each other and, being stuff together, and you already know what the dynamic between Winter Soldier and US Agent is going to be going in as well. So there's no real surprises here. There's nothing really to get interested in. And do we need that many shields flying around in one movie? It's like that scene in James Gunn's Suicide Squad where Idris Elba, where they introduce John Cena's character, they introduce Peacemaker, and Bloodsport is like he does exactly what I do, but times 10. The only character that is somewhat unique or does something completely different to the rest of the team is Ghost. And I see people on Twitter being like, get rid of Ghost, get rid of Taskmaster. They're the only two characters that I see having any relevance being on this team. Ghost was a big part of I think it was the Luke Cage led Thunderbolts team, and Taskmaster was a big part of the most recent Thunderbolts team, before the one that was led by Wilson Fisk. And I think the depressing thing about this movie is that it's being done after after William Hurt sadly died. And I feel like if he was still alive, we would definitely be seeing a Red Hulk in this movie. The problem with that is that there are 2 Red Hulks in the Marvel Universe. I know the other one is severely less popular, but if you want to do a Red Hulk, you can still introduce a character. You can introduce the character that is the other Red Hulk, or Red Hulk 2, the one that actually has the handlebar mustache and like the blue shorts, not black shorts but blue shorts, and looks like a military general in who looks like just looks like Red Hulk with sunglasses, uses like big guns and has the handlebar mustache while in Hulk form as well. I feel like you could still do Red Hulk without having Thunderbolt Ross there, but the whole it being called Thunderbolts and not having Thunderbolt Ross be attached to it in any way, I feel like that's a shame. I also feel like it's a shame that the head of getting the team together isn't Zemo, which is a big miss, because in Falcon and Winter Soldier you did all of this work to make audiences like Zemo because of the bad job that you did in Captain America Civil War. So Falcon and Winter Soldier was your big redemption piece for Zemo, and he almost became an anti-hero himself. He became exactly what the Thunderbolts have been known to be in more recent years. And Zemo is the one guy who is like on every Thunderbolts team apart from the most recent ones. He's on every Thunderbolts team apart from the more recent ones. So it doesn't really make sense him not being in the movie, because you did all that work to make him likable, and you succeeded in making him likable. You gave him the suit, you gave him personality, you made him dance, so you did all of that work to make him likable, and you're not going to put him in the movie that he really should be in. Like, if Zemo's going to be in any movie, he's going to be in the Thunderbolts, surely. Even if you don't want to do Zemo in the Thunderbolts, you do like Mach 1, or whatever his later alter ego was. I also think that there's a missed opportunity that all of the villains from No Way Home went back, because you could have done some interesting things with Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn gets cured, and he's now in the Marvel Universe, and he puts together the Thunderbolts, or like an MCU version of Norman Osborn puts together the Thunderbolts. Or you could have like Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin faked his own death or pretended to be dead, and he's the one that's putting together the Thunderbolts. I think that Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character just being like this shadowy woman in the background who's like putting together a Thunderbolts team doesn't really feel right with me, because it's not like the cool things that I want from the comics coming in. So what team would I have wanted for this movie? So we've already said that that Red Hulk would have been a surefire put in, right? So the characters that I would keep from the lineup, I think Ghost is good. I think Taskmaster is good. Like, those two, fine. even if it is the Taskmaster from Black Widow, you can build on that character. I think that there is something there. Like there are scenes, like the scene in the tank where she's all Terminator style, and that initial scene on the bridge. I feel like that's cool, and you can do more stuff with the action sequences there, and I think you can still build on the personality as well. You can actually give that actress personality, and the idea that I came up with for that is that she will like develop a kind of more unhinged Deadpool-like sense of humor, just without the fourth wall breaking, because you've already got She-Hulk doing fourth wall breaking, you're going to have Deadpool doing fourth wall breaking. So I think that she could develop more of an like unhinged sense of humor to kind of deal and cope with the trauma that she went through before and during the movie, before and during Black Widow. I think that would work well, because that's what Taskmaster is. Taskmaster is meant to be like this kind of unhinged comedic character. Like I've seen Taskmaster's always been more interesting when they've been played for laughs, and when they've been bouncing off of Deadpool, and when they've been like bouncing off of Spider-Man. And he kind of has that like quippy superhero quality, but put in the role of supervillain, kind of. And also the power set is fun. I would like them to use that more, and to kind of see her kind of like studying the different members of the Thunderbolts to kind of take inspiration from their powers, and to be like I did it better than you kind of thing. I think there is a character there that you can develop. It's just there wasn't any in the Black Widow movie, and I feel like if Thunderbolts does what I want it to do with Taskmaster, then it will have people kind of appreciating Black Widow more, because then you'll get it. You'll get the character arc that they went on, or that she went on, and it would kind of make more sense why they're more of a like Terminator style character, and that it doesn't really. It would make up for it, but it doesn't really mean we will forget that fuck up. It just means that we'll have our cool version of Taskmaster. Some people will still be pissed because of the gender swap. Those people should not be allowed to go into cinemas anyway. But here we go. But yeah, I don't think the gender swap for Taskmaster is a problem. I think the writing, or the lack thereof, the lack of a script for that actress was the problem, not the fact that it's an actress. The issue is that they didn't write any lines for Taskmaster in that movie. Yeah, that's the issue that I have. Not the fact that the fact that it's a woman. The fact that it's a woman, and the gender swap just becomes a con because of all the other things, and it's just a thing that people will say, and to be like a negative. I don't think it is a negative, because the gender of Taskmaster doesn't matter, because 99% of the time they're wearing a mask anyway. So why does the gender matter? Kind of thing. It only matters because they're called Tony. And do you know what? the most popular character in this cinematic universe was called Tony. So you have your Tony. You know? You don't need a second Tony that's not going to be as popular and not nearly going to sell as many action figures. The rest of the roster is where I have a problem. You can keep Yelena, because I like Yelena, and she's fun. And if you keep Yelena but change everyone else, then I'm fine with that. Plus, the more you get to see of Florence Pugh, the better, to be honest. She's like the new Elizabeth Olsen. Now that they've killed off Scarlet Witch, you need someone to take the role of, woman that I want to see in the movies kind of thing. You need someone else to take that role. I would put Hawkeye on the team. Fuck it, why not? Why not put Hawkeye on the team? Because he's at this like dark depression state of mind. Also, I'd like to see him and Yelena get more, have more screen time together, and this could be the movie where they end up killing off Clint Barton. So that would have been cooler. I would have liked to see Hawkeye instead of Winter Soldier, because I think Winter Soldier works best when he's in Captain America related stuff. To be honest, take him out of, have him not be the best Winter Soldier scenes in the MCU have had Anthony Mackie in them as well. I think I'm gonna get shout on for that take. I'm willing to bear the storm for that. The best Winter Soldier stuff is the best Winter Soldier stuff is everything that is all of the Falcon stuff that he's in, like the scene in the car where he's like move the seat up, all the Falcon and Winter Soldier. He does have some cool scenes in the Winter Soldier itself, but Falcon's also in that movie, so But yeah, take Winter Soldier out, put in Hawkeye, and kill off Hawkeye in this movie, but make it feel earned. I feel like Hawkeye's appeared in enough anyway. Whenever you decide to kill him off, it's gonna feel earned. Whether you do it in a Hawkeye season 2, whether you do it in a Secret Wars or the Kang Dynasty, whatever movie you decide to do it in, or show you decide to do it in, I don't mind, to be honest. It's gonna feel earned anyway, and it's probably gonna get a tier or two from me. But yeah, put Hawkeye in the movie. Hawkeye instead of Winter Soldier. That would be cool. I think take out US Agent and put in like a Punisher. Put in John Bernthal. You're already seeing the Netflix characters being put in. They've only been in Disney Plus stuff so far and a cameo in No Way Home. But I think Punisher was that character on Disney Plus that was like equal to Daredevil. In that way, he was the only one that got equal. And I was tossing up: do I want Luke Cage or do I want Punisher? I think we already have the Bruiser in Red Hulk. I've already said, even though William Hurt is dead, you can get the other guy that I don't know the name of, or you can replace Red Hulk with Emil Blonsky. They're doing stuff to make Abomination more in the front and center. They're doing more stuff to make him likable. So put Abomination in your movie. I'd replace US Agent with Zemo actually, and then replace friggin' Red Guardian with Punisher, because you don't really have anyone that's like properly damaged. For lack of a better term, you don't have anyone there that's like a full on like machine of like death, and that's exactly what Punisher is. He just, will go crazy. Like, Yelena's a spy, deals in stealth and all that. Zemo is more like methodical, and he's going to be the team leader, or he would be the team leader. Punisher would be kind of that kind of question mark. He'd be that character that would be like, I could kill all of you if I was so inclined. Like, you're a criminal, you're an ex-criminal, you destroyed half of Harlem. I have a justifiable reason to kill all of you. But I won't, because what we're now doing is bigger than all of that. And I just want to see John Bernthal back. I want to see Punisher back. So yeah, put Punisher on the team, and there's my Thunderbolts team. I don't like the lineup that they've got. I think the biggest issue is that three people do the same thing. I don't think. Could you imagine if, I know Thor: Love and Thunder, you had two Thors, but it's a Thor movie. It's not being touted as a team movie. It's not being touted as that. And also, one uses an axe and one uses Mjolnir, but uses Mjolnir in a new and fun and interesting way. You imagine if like on the Avengers, you had Iron Man and War Machine as the front runners of the team, like in the first movie, because they both existed in time for the first movie. Can you imagine if they put War Machine on the team instead of either Black Widow or Hawkeye? Could you imagine if that was War Machine instead? Like, it's not a matter of confusion, and it's not a matter of like people not being able to tell, or like it's not a matter of like what they're saying, why they changed the power set for Kamala, which is bullshit, by the way. The reason why they changed the power set for Kamala is because they wanted to give her some. They wanted to make her. They wanted to raise her power level for the Marvels movie, because she would look out of place if you had like all of these cosmic powered characters and then just a stretchy girl. Like, that would be. That would feel weird and out of place, but they wanted someone who would feel more right, sharing the screen with Captain Marvel and sharing the screen with Monica Rambeau and the other characters that are going to appear in that movie. And just say that coming out. Don't be like, oh, we wanted it to be less confusing for when she shares the screen with Mr. Fantastic. It's like, hey, when the fuck is that ever gonna happen? When has Miss Marvel ever been in a Fantastic Four comic? For most of the time that Miss Marvel's been a prevalent character, the Fantastic Four weren't having comics written. Plus, one is a 16-year-old Indian girl, and the other is a white scientist. A white, middle-aged scientist. And you would tell the difference from costume, because one wears gloves and one doesn't. Because, one is severely younger and one isn't. One is female and one isn't. When are they ever gonna share a screen? That's such a shit reason. But this, all of the shields are the same size. All of them look kind of the same, you know. It's a matter of. It's not a matter of confusion. It's a matter of boredom. It's a matter of, you know, not having very cool visuals. And yes, it would be cool to see US Agent, and they're doing that because everyone was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool for Red Guardian and Captain America to fight? Or why don't we get the Captain America we've got that's alive and that doesn't have wings? Why don't we have the Captain America we've got that's alive and that was like Steve Rogers and Red Guardian to fight in this movie? That's fine, but it doesn't scratch the same itch nearly as much because it's not Steve Rogers. And adding Taskmaster, you're just adding another shield. you see what I mean? It's not going to be like creating fun visuals. You know, having the two hammers, you know, it was creating fun visuals. It was like the two looked different enough to be able to tell the difference. You know, one's a giant axe and the other's, you know, a hammer that splits into pieces. And, you know, that's fun. You know, there are problems with Love and Thunder, but I don't think the two protagonists having the same or similar weapons is an issue. I don't think that's a problem at all. The problem is in tone. But this isn't a Thor Love and Thunder review. This is me talking about what I would have done with the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts lineup. Now, if I was making a Thunderbolts movie at all, I think merging all of the teams with like what you have available, and the characters you have introduced is the way you should have gone. It's not the way I would have gone. It's the way that the MCU should have gone. Because they have enough characters from enough different Thunderbolts runs to make a hodgepodge, right? You know, a hodgepodge of all of the Thunderbolts runs, you know, with characters that are unique, different, and make for fun visuals. That would make sense. You know, what I would have done personally is I would have done the Red Hulk team. I would have done Red Hulk, Punisher, Deadpool, Agent Venom, Elektra, Ghost Rider, and Leader and Mercy, kind of, maybe. That's what I would have done. Because that was the comic book run that got me into reading comics. I was far too young to be reading it, and I didn't know half of the characters that were in it. But it was the run that got me into comics. It was looking back and reading those books again. At least the first 7 issues, which was as far as I got, because I was what, 10 at the time. I should not have been reading a book with the Punisher and Deadpool in it at 10. but I did. My parents let me read them, so, you know, bad parenting, I guess. But yeah, that's the Thunderbolts team I'm accustomed to. That's the one that I grew up with. It's the one that I love, and those comics, despite their actual quality, it was what got me into reading comics. And it was the first ever like book that I bought week to week, or I started reading it when it was like 10 issues in. So I went in, I bought 2 issues, and then I went in the next week, I bought the next 2 issues, and the next week bought the next 2 issues until I got caught up to what they had, and then I never finished it. and that's the one like that's the one like big regret I have, is never finishing that. I can't remember who the writer was, but I know the artist was Steve Dillon, and then it became Phil Noto on issue 7. But that's the biggest thing for me, is not finishing that run. So yeah, that's what I would have done. But I think the MCU, what would have worked best is like hodgepodging all of the teams. I think this lineup it spells we have no idea what to do. And it almost spells we have no idea what the Thunderbolts are as a concept. Where my brain went looking at this roster is Secret Avengers. You were thinking Secret Avengers. That's what you wanted to do. That's the movie you wanted to make. And then you were like, we'll just do Thunderbolts instead. Or it was we have an idea for Thunderbolts. We have a script for Thunderbolts. We have these characters we're going to put in Thunderbolts. And I think Red Hulk was one of them. And then William Hurt died. So they were like, oh shit. Our main character for this movie is dead. We've got to scrap it, and we've got to think of who's popular and who are the biggest trending hashtags and who are the biggest actors at the moment that make sense in this. So they typed in Red, and they went Red Hulk, actor dead, and then Red Guardian. So they were like, we'll put Red Guardian in. We'll put Florence Pugh in. We'll put Florence Pugh is big in the news because of this other movie she's doing. We'll put her in. People love Winter Soldier. Put him in. Taskmaster got a lot of buzz on Twitter. Put her in. You know, Ghost was already in the movie anyway, so just keep all of the stuff that we had for Ghost and just do Ghost. You know, it feels like that's exactly what they were doing. And US Agent was in the movie. It was probably in the movie anyway, as well. So it just feels like that's what they were doing. So I think we need to see, this movie is a long way away, right? And this roster that we've been given may not be the roster that we have at the end of the movie. This is a Thunderbolts movie. For all we know, this could go the exact same way as James Gunn's Suicide Squad, where there's a team at the start of the movie and they all get killed off save for 2, and then there's another team at the and then there's another team that come in like 10 minutes into the movie. For all we know, that could be the case, and they may be completely hiding that other team. That might be exactly what they're doing. I don't think it is, though, because the MCU is very against killing off characters early in movies and killing off characters for a joke. You know, and the big thing with this is, with looking at this, is these are characters that have appeared in movies before, that have had build up, and that have motivations, and that have stuff, right? And this isn't DC, and this isn't James Gunn. So they could do that, but it could feel like a copy and paste, or they can do that and it won't feel the same. It'll just feel like, hey, we're riffing off of what Suicide Squad did. Or this will feel like a very... this could work. The team they've got here could work. Like, I have I have hopes for what they could do with Taskmaster. Like I said, Yelena has been very has been very charismatic throughout everything that she's been in through the course of, through her appearances in the MCU. I really liked her in Hawkeye. Like, a lot of people don't, but I did. I like US Agent. I'm not supposed to. You're not supposed to, according to Twitter, but I like him. I like Red Guardian. I thought it was the best part of Black Widow. I like Winter Soldier. I like. I think Ghost could be fun if they lean into a power set, but this feels like a Secret Avengers team. It doesn't feel like a Thunderbolts team. It feels like the B team made this roster. Now, all we have to go on is a roster. But when 3 people on your team do the same thing, and when there's not really very many callbacks to the comics, when it feels like you're just making Black Widow 2, that's what this feels like. It feels like Black Widow 2, because it's the same characters that were in Black Widow. It's basically, can we get away with doing a movie about Black Widow's supporting cast and villain? Yeah, we can. And yes, Taskmaster is the villain of that movie. You know, Dreykov is also a villain in that movie, but Taskmaster is the antagonist, or an antagonist, or if you want to go it this way, Taskmaster is a villain in comics. Therefore, the adaptation of Taskmaster in movies, at least in the first movie that they come in, where they are actively fighting and trying to stop the hero, is the definition of a villain. So Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie is a villain, is the villain. They are not necessarily villainous in intent. They may be a pawn of Dreykov and a victim, you know. But you know who else was a victim? Killmonger. Killmonger was a victim. He's still the antagonist of that movie. You know who else was a victim? Ghost. I don't see anyone going online saying, stop calling Ghost a villain. You know, so yeah, I hate this like thing of like, just because a character has any kind of semblance of depth, and you know, I'm not calling Taskmaster deep in any way, but there was a twist, and you know, it didn't fulfill people in a way, and it wasn't the version of Taskmaster that people wanted to see. But you're either like, but the only two sides you see of that coin is they're either like, she's not even a villain. Why are you talking about this version of Taskmaster like you're talking about a comic book version of Taskmaster? Well, guess what? This is a comic book movie. We're going to make comparisons because that's what the character's based on. You know, and there's the other side of the fence, which is like, women bad. Don't make our characters women. Well, guess what? It's a fictional character. No one gives a fuck what the gender is of this fictional character, which wears a mask all of the time. And don't show me random comic book panels from years ago, from like decades ago, showing Anthony Masters' face, because that's one panel from one comic that isn't in the back here, that isn't in the back here, There isn't in any of the long boxes that I have. If it doesn't appear in any of the over 200 comics that I own, right? Nearly 300 now, because I've been collecting for several years. If it doesn't appear in any of those, I will say that it's a rare image, right? Or I will say that it doesn't really matter, because that's why I'm saying 90% of the time, because yes, I know that it has happened on very rare occasions, but 90% of the time, Taskmaster has a mask on, right? So the gender of Taskmaster doesn't actually matter at all. It's not like Captain America, where Steve Rogers is Steve Rogers is blanket male, like that's a big part of that character. It's not like Tony Stark. It's not like anyone like it's not like Spider-Man. It's not like Black Panther, King of Wakanda. It's not like that. It's a character whose gender plays little to no role in their actual character. So if that is an issue for you, then, stay off the internet. This is the wrong hobby for you. I'm sorry. But yeah, there are people that love Taskmaster to a point where they will die on a sword, either defending the movie version or hating on it with a passion. And I lay in the middle, where I'm like, if given a second chance with Antonia Dreykov, and change that surname, because why would you keep the surname of why would you keep the surname of an abusive father? Why would you do that of someone who caused you so much trauma? So I think we'll definitely see her become Antonia Masters by the end of Thunderbolts. That's the closest you will get to Anthony Masters. I just don't think the gender swap is a big deal. I think the personality is the big deal, and the writing or lack thereof. That's the biggest thing for me. And I think people need to get that in their minds. It's like, as long as the soul of the character is there, as long as the core of the character is there, then it's fine. The big problem I have with movie Taskmaster, at least in Black Widow, is there is no soul to that character. It doesn't feel like... It feels like that could be anyone. You could put Batroc the Leaper there. You could put, Mysterio there. You could put Kraven the Hunter there. And it wouldn't make much of a difference, because they're not a character. They're a thing, a plot device. They're an enforcer. They're like... They're the movie equivalent of a mini-boss. But yeah, it got a lot deeper than I wanted it to today. I'm sorry. And 44 fucking minutes. Jesus Christ. No video on the internet should be that long. Especially not any of mine. But I fucking love the Thunderbolts. They're what got me into comics. They're what got me into Marvel. And when I see a team roster, and when it kind of rubs me the wrong way, I'm going to be passionate about it, because this is a team that means a lot to me. It means a lot to a lot of people, and my version of the Thunderbolts is different to everyone else's, and the version of the Thunderbolts that I fell in love with are a version of the Thunderbolts that a lot of people hate or don't like, because it's meant to be a villain team, and the version of the Thunderbolts that I fell in love with was all anti-heroes, right? Apart from the leader, who is like an actual villain, but later on in that run, he becomes an actual villain and tries to kill the team. But yeah, I like it. I'm not optimistic about the Thunderbolts movie. I'm just not. This roster, the only takeaway I had from this roster, and the only thing I had to say about it, is why would you put 3 characters with shields on it? Why would you put 2 Captain America clones and a everyone clone in this? It's like the only character there with the shields that really needs to be on the team is Taskmaster. The only character that's the only character on the team that needs to be there. There's only 3 characters that I can justify being there, and it's Ghost, Taskmaster, and Yelena. And I only justify Yelena because it's a charismatic actress who's been fun in everything that I've seen, and I want to see more of her. You know. The rest of the team just feels like we need 3 guys. It's like there's got to be a meme somewhere where it's like we've got to shoehorn in a woman into this team at somewhere. It's like, where are we going to shoehorn a woman in? And it's like, and this is the reverse of it. This is like, where are we going to shoe in men? Well, why don't we get the other guy? Why don't we get the guy from Black Widow in here? Why don't we get the most popular man in superhero movies in here? And why don't we get other Captain America that no one liked in here? It's like the B team. The B team did this. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video before it gets any longer. I'll see you guys in the next one, where hopefully I won't be moaning for 47 minutes. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.